Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and today we are talking about a very awesome tool for Microsoft Flight Simulator and any other flight simulation experience, and that is Navigraph Charts. We're going to go into a very high level on what Navigraph Charts is, and then we're going to talk about their newest feature that I think is an absolute game changer, especially if you're using this on a mobile device. Stick around. One app designed to do it all. Hangar Control brings everything together: control bindings, hardware configuration, mod and profile management, application launching, add-ons, config files, and more, all managed from a single application. Mods Hangar goes beyond just mods and add-ons. It manages profiles, config files, text files, backups, snapshots, and helps keep your community folders clean and organized. Application Hangar launches your entire sim stack with a single click. Your Stream Decks are fully controlled through the Hangar Control plugin, while all of your other Stream Deck plugins remain active and available. Built by a simmer for simmers, Hangar Control adds new features and hardware support every week based on community feedback. It's a one-time purchase with lifetime updates, no subscriptions. You can try it for free for 5 days with no restrictions at overkillsimulations.com. Just create an account, head to your account page, download the latest version, and get started. And if you're looking for in-depth Microsoft Flight Simulator aircraft tutorials, check out my Patreon site. Links to Hangar Control and Patreon are down in the description below. All right, folks, so first off, let's talk about the basics here. If you are interested in any kind of realistic or semi-realistic flight simulation, I think Navigraph Charts is probably one of the biggest must-haves that you could have in your inventory. It does so much more than just charts, but it is a key point of that process. Okay, the charts are obviously your hugest point. So first off, let's back up a couple years here, and we used to have two primary tools that we used hand in hand. One was simbrief.com that you would use to create any of your IFR flight plans. For those of you who don't know, IFR is Instrument Flight Rules. So anytime you're flying at high altitudes or very long distance, where simply looking out the window, or VFR, Visual Flight Rules, is not enough. Anytime that you have to file a specific flight plan, you say you want ATC following. An example of ATC following is if you were flying in a small general aviation aircraft and you weren't completely confident, or you just wanted that extra level of security, knowing that air traffic control is going to follow you all the way through. That is another example of when you would want to create a dedicated flight plan. And this is all where Navigraph really comes into play. And of course, you have the big boys. Anytime you're doing a commercial flight, whether it be in a large airliner or a private jet, this is again another example of where this tool is going to come in handy. So I'm not going to go into what exactly the charts are. Okay, there's so many videos out there and it's been discussed multiple times, and I would highly recommend, if you're new to flight simulation, that you do look up and do some research. Whether it be even asking ChatGPT is a great example of a tool and a resource that you could use to simply ask, what are nav charts for flight simulation or aviation, and they'll break it down for you. But it's definitely a great tool. So you have access to all of the charts worldwide that label everything out, allows you to draw your flight plan and all that good jazz. But there's another big key to flight simulation that the more advanced you get, and especially as you start getting into air traffic control software, that you're going to want to pay attention to. And that is, anytime ATC is talking to you, you're going to need to be either recording that information somewhere or have a really fantastic memory. Now, when it comes to real world aviation, the best practice is to always write it down, even if you think you have the greatest memory on the planet Earth. And they have introduced a really neat tool to help us with that. And that is this guy right here down at the bottom, the Scratchpad. Now we're going to be looking at this for the first time together. This is my first time checking this out. And I wanted you guys to be able to see that right from the start, so that way we catch these reactions in the raw. Now, normally I would be using this on something like my iPad or even my phone, although with the phone it gets obviously pretty small there. I don't know that I would recommend it on a phone, but certainly usable. But something like an iPad or a tablet or something that has a browser with a touch screen, that's where this thing's really going to shine. Now today you guys aren't going to be able to see that because I don't have a fantastic way of recording my iPad. I need to come up with something. I'm trying to get in the habit of doing this, and they implemented the perfect solution for this because I'm going to be starting my pilot's license here in just a couple of weeks. And so I'm going to be using something called ForeFlight, but the principle is going to be the same. So first off, getting into the Scratchpad features, we have a blank paper. Okay, now when you come into blank paper, that is exactly what it sounds like. Now let's see what we've got. So first we have a freehand tool. We have a rectangle tool. We have a circle tool, text tool, and select annotation. There we go. Set drawing color, and a pen size. So let's go with just the basics here. Again, we're going to be using my mouse, so forgive me here, but it makes it very easy to simply, write things down. Now, again, I would highly recommend that you would use something like, a touchpad, a stylus, or something like that. The more advanced you can get, and again, that's where that whole idea of a touchpad comes into play here. Okay, but this is still a very slick tool. This is cool. Okay, now let's trash that. Okay, clear annotations, clear, boom. Now let's see what our rectangle tool does. So if we draw a rectangle in here, and then I imagine we could draw a text tool, and that's where you could use your keyboard. Although let's change that font. Let's see if that does anything. Doesn't look like you can go back and change what's already there. Let's see here. Oh, I don't know what I did. There we go. All right, so that's pretty slick. So if you wanted to highlight certain fields or draw out your own template, that you have that ability as well. So let's go ahead and let's see here, exit annotations mode. So that would be an example if you wanted just a blank piece of paper. You have lined paper, grid paper. We can show one just to give you an idea, but there you go. That will make it nice, again, if you have something like a stylus. But even then, if you want to use your text tool, let's use the text tool here again. And then you can use your keyboard. This would work really well. Okay, so pretty neat feature there, but let's go into something a bit more of what I'm looking for here. ATIS. Look at this. This is extremely nice. So you have your airport. So let's see if we could just do a mock run through here. We're going to stay on this text tool, but if you had, again, your stylus, you could use the free write. I'm not going to try that with a mouse right now, but even doing this, we could do, for example, KTUS, information. Let's see here. All right, now I want you to let go. Oh, got to click out and then back in. Information, let's say it's Bravo. Time. All right, so you have to click up. That I'm noticing. I wish that you could simply just bounce from field to field, but it doesn't seem to be liking that at all. Although jumping from line to line works. No, it doesn't. So yeah, you're definitely going to want to click out into the dead zone here and then bring it back in. But it's nice that wherever you go... Oop, uh-oh, now what did I do? So that's definitely something that needs a little bit of work, it looks like. But there we go. Let's say we were doing, I don't know, 1326. Keep that nice and simple. Winds. Let's see here. What would that be? Something like 230 at... Click up. Oh, there we go. That's not too bad. So you don't have to go as far out. It looks like you just have to wait until you are out of the cursor. So let's try that. 230 at 5 knots. Gusting at, I don't know, 8. Visibility. Clear. All right, so that's pretty slick. That's pretty slick. And then again, you can pull everything else back down here as you normally would. This is really awesome. This is a slick tool. And it looks like it's keeping all of these up and running. So even though I close that, what if we want to close some of these though? Let's see here. We already trashed it. Undo the last annotation, but what if you actually want to close the tab? So I don't see how you do that. That would be nice. I can't right click or anything like that. So I'm not quite sure what the handle is for that. I'm not seeing a way to literally remove a sheet. So hopefully that's something that they address, or at least make that more apparent. All right, so we have PIREP, times out and in. What does that do? Oh, this is for your gate times. All right, so this can be more for commercial use. Takeoff and landing data. There we go. Craft. There it is. This is your clearance information. So when you talk to ATC for the first the first contact and get your clearance information, I believe that is what craft is used for, if memory serves. And then your holding clearances. Wow. So they really got some really good templates here, and the templates were really what I was after. That's really the piece that I wanted to check out here, was what the templates were going to be like. I can say that, again, being someone who would use this on a tablet, this is going to be smooth. This is going to be very, very nice. And the nice thing about an iPad, for example, is that with an iPad, you can get a stylus. I would recommend something like this with a stylus. But I mean, you can do your finger to some of you guys are amazing. You can just get on there and use your finger like it was a pencil. When I draw with my finger, it is only slightly better than what I was doing with the mouse. So I'm probably not the best example for that by any means. Now, if memory serves, they also added a way, I believe, let's see here, type or edit route. Nope, that's just for manual. I thought they also added a way, if we go to a chart, let's go to our chart here. Come on. There you go, pull it up. It's running a little slow today, isn't it? Yeah, and so up here, now I think this one's been out for a while, I thought. But you can actually annotate. No, I don't think so. Maybe not. You can also do the same thing on your charts. So if you have specific instructions or things like that. Now, the really cool thing about your free draw here is, what airport are we at? Oh, this is Phoenix. Okay, so like, for example, if we were getting our taxi instructions, we can zoom in here, and let's say our instructions were to come off of here and then come down Sierra. I don't know why we would do this, but oh, nope. Now the only problem with that is, oh, there we go. So there we go. That'd be the better way to do that. And then let's say we were to, so it will zoom wherever your mouse is. So your mouse is the center focus of the zoom, and there we go. Okay, so you could do something like that if you were copying down your taxi instructions. So as long as you're prepped with your charts and things like that, you could make this process extremely fast and very, very effective for you in drawing everything out. I mean, think about it, especially when you're talking about something like even the GNS 530 has a map overview, if I remember correctly, on certain aircraft. But your G1000s all the way up to commercial aircraft, the G3000s certainly and above, you're going to have these airport charts that are built into it. Most of them have the Navigraph Charts integration with them. I might be wrong about the 530, to be honest with you, but you guys get the point. So you could literally draw this out on your iPad and match it up with what you're seeing inside the sim. Now, the one thing that I really do hope, I think that would be really epic for that, is if they could find a way to, because I know that you can integrate a lot of this stuff. It'd be pretty cool if they could integrate your charts view with the sim, so that way as you draw this stuff out, it actually shows up in your aircraft too. That'd be kind of dope, in my opinion. But I could also see some downsides to that too. You probably wouldn't want to clog up your in-aircraft view of a chart with stuff like this. But like your taxi instructions, I think that'd be dope. Anyways, so this is really, really amazing. And guys, I cannot stress, I wish I had the hours to go into how valuable this particular software is. Especially now that, as we're going back to what we were talking about before, that SimBrief was recently bought out by Navigraph. So they are now one and the same, which makes in creating your flight plan and integrating it with Navigraph Charts almost seamless now. And you get a ton of advantages, such as being able to import your flight plans directly into Navigraph Charts, being able to build your flight plans directly from Charts if you don't want to go through SimBrief, being able to save previous flight plans if you want to use that, as well as now this new annotation and Scratchpad ability. This is a lot of data that you can now save and really compile together very, very well. Now, the one thing that I would like to see on the Scratchpad, I will be honest, I think that would be really, really helpful. Let me make sure I don't have to put my foot in my mouth here. Again, I don't see any way to do it, so I don't think I'm missing anything, but I think something that would be very, very epic for them here. Oh, there we go. Hey, look at that. There we go. There's our clear. That's how we get rid of stuff. So you hit the point of ellipsis down here, and it allows you to drop this stuff out. So what that also tells me is exactly what I was just sitting here thinking. You can actually draw all this stuff up, save it to this particular flight plan, and so the next time you load it up here, you've got all that data and you got it set up the way that you want. That is slick. That is very, very slick. I am really impressed with this. Now, if we want to clear all, boom, there we go. Anyways, the last piece that I was going to go into with this whole Scratchpad idea is it would be very, very nice. And look at that. That's just a basic text field. That's all that is. So slick. And you can increase your font size up here if you want. So let's go extra large. There you go for us old people, right? Yeah, I know, me at the ripe age of 42. But what would be nice for the last time trying to get this out now, if I've shut myself up here, is if you could take one of these scratch pads and export it out to a different screen. I really hope that they add that if they have not already. I do not see a way currently to do that, but I think that would be killer. I think if you could take this, have your charts up on one window, have your scratch pad up on another window, whether it be on a browser or whatever it may be, I think that would be phenomenal and a really neat way to give sim pilots even further control and further realism of their aircraft configuration. Having, again, the less you have to touch a keyboard, the better a simulation is going to be. So this is really, really slick, and I'm really impressed with their performance here. Navigraph just continues over the years to be innovative and constantly expanding the features of their software. Now, I will say this is a subscription base. I have no idea what it is anymore these days. I haven't checked. I think it's $15 a month, I think is what I pay, maybe less. I don't remember. I don't even check anymore. It just automatically pulls from my account. It's been like that for years and years now, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Very, very powerful tool. Very, very powerful tool. I would say for flight simulation purposes, it's right up there with ForeFlight. So it is a great tool to use. Even if you, like myself, are planning on going for your real world's pilot's license, it will still give you in that habit of looking at your charts, planning your flight plans, taking a look at your restrictions, your airways, your altitudes, any kind of avoidance that you need to look at. I mean, here, for example, this 10.1, 10.7, these are altitudes, okay? So you want to be above 10,400, 12,000 feet, and I believe that's ground level, if I remember correctly, 1,200 feet. Anyway, digress. You guys get what I'm getting at here. Really, really cool software. So to Navigraph, hats off to you. I think this is a great addition. I really hope that you add the ability to pull these scratch pads out to a second screen. I think that would be killer. But other than that, I think you've done a wonderful job here. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, and any other fantastic tools that you think that all flight simmers must have. Tell me what those are down below. I'd love to hear. As always, folks, stay safe and healthy. Don't forget to check out Hangar Control at overkillsimulations.com, and I'll see you in the next one.